pop quiz. When you've been locked in the trunk of some smuggler's Buick in total darkness for a 7-hour trip across the border, and suddenly they pop the trunk open and that noonday desert sun is beating down on your face, do you start sneezing? And if so, why is that? If you're one of the 10 to 35% of people who start sneezing when exposed to a bright light, you may be the proud owner of a photic sneeze reflex, also known adorably as ACHOO syndrome. And yes, you bet your nose hairs that's an acronym. It stands for Autosomal Dominant Compulsive Helio-Ophthalmic Outbursts of Sneezing. We'll get back to some of those terms in a minute. One study in 1993 found that it's not any particular wavelength of light that causes the problem, so you can't protect yourself against it by just filtering out red light or violet light or whatever light. Instead, it has to do with the intensity of the light. So the good news is that if you want to avoid the photic sneeze, there's a pretty easy solution that works most of the time. Plain old sunglasses. Bonus points, you'll look cool. Also, more good news. If you're one of the 70 to 90% of people who are watching this video and thinking, what are they talking about? I only sneeze when I do the cinnamon challenge. You can rest easy. You can't acquire the photic sneeze reflex after birth. It's actually a genetic trait. But the question of why remains. No absolutely conclusive answer has been reached, but there's one very interesting theory. Photic sneezing happens because of some crossed wires in your head. Normally, a sneeze is your nose's version of the passenger seat eject button in James Bond's car. Sneezing begins when irritation in the nose is detected by an organ called the trigeminal nerve. But inside your head, the trigeminal nerve runs very close to the optic nerve, which senses light in the eyes. So let's say the eyes of a photic sneezer are suddenly exposed to bright sunlight. The optic nerve detects this and sends another reflex signal. Ah, too bright, shrink my pupils. But because the optic nerve runs a little too close to the trigeminal nerve, the pupil constriction signal also gets interpreted as a something's in my nose signal, and bam, sneezing fit. So, do you experience the photic sneeze reflex? Do you sneeze the same number of times every time it happens? A lot of people report that. So let us know in the comments. And bonus, did you know that sneezing is also known as sternutation? I guess that's for people who have a hard time pronouncing the word sneeze, or people who just like to prove that they did well on their SATs. Richard.